Hey guys, welcome to another Sunday Night Live. This is Into the Toybox. I am out in Multiverse, or Brian, and I have my co-host right here with me. Let's go ahead and bring him out. Beta Ray Bob.
Hello.
Hey Bob, how are you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I am great, man. Glad to be here and to do this show tonight.
Oh yeah, we got a good guest tonight.
We do. 3 day weekend for most of us, and that has
Yeah.
really helped. So that's a plus. So anyway, I guess without further ado, we're going to bring out our next guest, um, DieHard3Point75.
Hey,
Hey, hey.
thank you, thank you. Thanks for having me on. Let me say something really quick before we start. It's kind of I watch the show all the time, right? And I was telling my wife before, the show. It's now I'm in the show, so it's
You
kind
are?
of it's kind of a surreal kind of a thing. So thank you guys. This is the first time I've ever been on someone's stream, and I couldn't have had a couple better guys to do it with, and I want to thank you for that. So thanks a lot.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, man. And as I said earlier, I hate that it's been this long to get you on the show. It's just kind of, it's. I'm just gonna say it's just stuff that happens. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
streaming and trying to get guests and stuff like that. It's sometimes it just goes where it goes. But I'm glad to have you on. I meant to have you. I
Mhm.
wanted to have you on for a few months, and so I'm just like trying to get everything worked out. And so anyway, glad you're here, man.
Yeah,
Timing in life, and thank you for joining us.
no, thank you. And let me say too, thank you, Bob, because Bob did pick up some of the exclusives from the Joe Fest for me. So that was really
Okay.
kind of him. He hooked me up. He sent them right over, and real class act, you two guys.
Thank you.
Bob
And I'm
is
always happy to pay it forward to the community. So, because there's going to be some point when I won't be able to make it to a convention, I'll have to hit up somebody like, "Hey, can you hook me up?" And it's like, no problem.
Yeah,
Bob is he's an old pro at, I don't mean that offensively, Bob, but he's an old
Oh
pro
no, I'm old.
at
I
picking up
understand.
stuff for people. His nickname is Beta Ray Bob, uh, uh, Pack Horse extraordinaire at times, because he's got lots of stuff in bags for people coming back, usually from a Joe Fest.
Oh
He's
yeah,
done it.
like I
He's
said,
done it for me. He's done it for me as well. So
yeah.
anyway,
Always happy to pay it forward.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah, that's cool.
my
It's like
turn at needing some stuff is coming up.
this was my first year to be able to be the pack mule for other people. They're like, hey, since you're going, I'm like, yep, you can't say no
Mhm.
because you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
you know, anyway, Tony, or Die Hard 3.75. I first met you online in our Acid Rain chat group.
that's right. That's right. Good friend of the channel, my channel and yours, I think. Red Canada, R3D.
Yeah.
He really kind of he's been just like you guys, been a really stand up guy, and he said, you want to join this Acid Rain group? I'll talk to these guys that run it. I think it's Shadow, or it might be John Reed. I'm not sure who actually runs it.
Shadow Hand.
Shadow,
He's
yeah. And he
yeah.
said, I'll have him join. I'll ask him if you can join. And I'm like, okay. I didn't even know that there was groups like that. I've never been. It's actually the
Right.
only group I'm in. And I think you and I think we've been swimming in the same pool for quite a while.
Right. Um, I remember Brett from Aegis Station. He's the one who he said, hey man, he's like, I know you're like into Acid Rains, like you might want to there's a bunch of other guys that are collecting too. And I was like, okay. And that was kind of like one of the first ones that I got in. And so anyway, but if you like Acid Rain and stuff like that, which a lot of us do, it's like it was kind of cool to, be able to talk to people about that, that
They really know the line. I'm only been collecting it for a few years. I think like you, right? They're just maybe 2-3 years. And there's Shadow, a couple of these guys, they know.
Yeah, a lot of those guys in there are like old heads where they were the original before it was Toys Alliance. It was Ori Toy or whatever it was called. So that was a little before my time. I just pretty much started with like pretty much when the Yamato line sort of came out right before that. And so but yeah. So okay, I guess we've been chatting a little bit. Let's talk to the
live chat.
Yeah, our friends in the chat.
So we got Bjorn here with us.
Bjorn,
with 3 different terms this time.
Oh, sweet.
So,
we got trifecta. The trifecta up in here.
Let's got Ian here with us.
Ian, what's up, man? Thanks for watching.
Whoops, hang on. Having some trackpad issues. Let's see. Let's go on down here. PLM, what's up? Got to meet him at Joe Fest.
We got to meet Nomad Outpost at Joe Fest. Yeah, it was cool.
Defiance here with us. Also met up with him. Well, and Bjorn at Joe Fest.
Yeah. Yeah. Defiant posted a picture earlier with no action figure on it. I was like, "Where's the action figure at, dude?"
Well, at first I thought the same thing, and then I realized I think he got that ghillie suit.
Yeah.
Sniper guy from Marauder.
Yeah, it was working. It was working. Hey, Jabalong.
Hey, Jabalong.
Yes.
Hey, bro. Hey,
what's up? Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yes.
And let's see. Oh, here's somebody we might know. Famine
Studios. What's up?
And we actually didn't have to start all over again. He got here on time.
You didn't really miss much. So we're gonna keep it live. We're keeping it live.
Yeah. Michael, what's up?
Hey, Michael.
And our buddy Chris. How's it going?
Chris, what's up?
And that gets us caught up with the chat so far.
Sweet. So anyway, I guess let's just do.
Oh crap! Sorry.
What?
That's my fault.
Okay.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Gotcha. So
there we go.
I did. I was like, "Where's the photo? Where's the guy at?" He's like, "Bam!" I was like, "I'm out." Yep. Who doesn't spot the sniper? So anyway,
that is kind of the point of the sniper.
So how long have you been collecting, I guess, the modern action figures?
Yeah, so I graduated high school in '97, and I think by '99, before the Phantom Menace came out, I kind of rekindled my love of action figures and started with Power of the Force 2. And then rolled it into the sort of the prequel Phantom Menace and those figures. And I always got a few little Joes on the side, GI Joes on the side, but mostly Star Wars and a little bit of GI Joe. And so probably I'd say 99 is probably when I really kind of started buying stuff and kind of hoarding it or hiding it, where you want to say. I still have a lot of that stuff, but I was in a little apartment at the time, and so I was actually taking it over to my mom's house and kind of hiding it in my old childhood bedroom till I ran out of space and she noticed. But then I moved it to her attic. But yeah, I was like a closet collector, a little embarrassed, at that time. It wasn't quite as cool. I was like 19, 20 years old, and I was collecting action figures. And this was before, really the internet, before
right.
Kind of that kind of stuff. I didn't know other people really collected because there was no really forum, that I knew people were buying them though, because I'd go to all the Toys R Us's and the KB Toys and they'd be missing. And I'm like, someone's buying these. And a couple of times I'd go to a store and I'd see a guy, and then I'd go to a different store and the same guy'd be there in that section. I was like, he's collecting just like me.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, the YouTube, the Toy Tube, there wasn't that many people. There was Sith Lord 229, there was a couple guys mostly just doing Star Wars, and I felt like that kind of changed around 2010 with Marvel Legends, and then they're just all these channels kind of just happened. And I always wanted to do YouTube. I always wanted to try to do a channel. And what kind of happened was, I mentioned Red Canada earlier. I was doing like a live stream, kind of like I do now, but on Instagram. And he would come to the show and he'd watch it, and he kind of encouraged me one time, said, you should do that on YouTube. And the features on Instagram, if you try to pause it and go back, and if it's an hour-long stream, it's kind of hard to, unless you just watch it all the way through.
Right.
He was like, it'd be a lot easier for me to watch it if it was on YouTube, because I could pause it and I can, I was like, yeah, you're right. But the one thing that always held me back, and this is a little bit personal, but I think you guys can kind of relate. I have a plaque psoriasis, or like psoriatic arthritis, and it really destroyed my hands. In particular, my nails and my hands. And I don't know if you know what that is, but it leaves like lesions.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get the medication at the time. Just didn't have the money. It's very expensive. And I had to switch insurances and all these things to kind of get it. And then it healed. It's something it's for life. It doesn't go away. And I always wanted to do it, but my hands were all messed up. And even some days, to give you an example, it was very difficult to like turn a key on your car, or like when you unlock a door. I had to kind of relearn how to type and click the mouse, because the tips of your fingers get all messed up and very painful. And once I got on the medication and it cleared up, and Red Canada kind of encouraging me, I was like, I think I can finally do it. But then I mentioned to you guys earlier in the back, I had to go to YouTube and start to watch videos. How do you do YouTube? Because I had no idea. It was just kind of a thought, like, I really want to do this. But no one to ask, no experience in work or school. And and people say all the time, if you want a channel, just start one, just start it. And I think that was actually pretty good advice, because you just learn as you go. And
right.
I have a long way to go, have a long way to get better. But I have goals, and it's a lot of fun. I still have a lot of fun doing it. And that's what it's all about. It's a hobby, Bob. We were talking about that earlier. It's a hobby. So if it's not fun, I won't do it.
That's right. Yeah. If you're not having fun, I can say then it's not worth doing, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because everybody, as Bob said, everybody will notice it, if it's not, from, having the fun perspective. If it's not that, then, like I said, it's work. It feels like work. Yeah. It's not good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Your audience will find you eventually if you're doing it for fun, and you're putting your passion into it, and you're doing like videos that you really feel something about.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just like you're just noise in the stream.
Yeah. And that's why one of the reasons why I kind of want to get you on the show, because it's like, for me, it's like I am the type of person that where I won't, people I know, it's like, if I don't know somebody, then I'm not really going to like say, hey, don't forget such and such, somebody's going to be on the show or whatever. But it's like, if I know the person, then I want them to like, to be able to get the same audience that, that I get or something like that. Cause, that's just sort of the way I feel about things. And, I knew that you were doing a show. I guess how long have you been doing your current show right now?
I think, I think I'm on number 13, but I think I did a couple before I started numbering them.
Right.
Probably only like 15 shows, but I did do the same kind of show on Instagram for about a year or two. Okay. I only missed a couple of every other Sundays for quite a while. But they're different, again, the completely different, how you shoot the video and this background that we can see and all that kind of stuff. It's completely different. So The talking to the camera is the same, but that's about it.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever watched any of the ones on Instagram, just because I'm gonna be honest. Watching streams on Instagram is like terrible, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's literally the worst. And so I've watched people's streams and stuff, but it's like I just can't do it very long, just because to me it's just not a very pleasant experience. And I've never streamed on there, and probably will never do that. I knew people that were streaming on there, and I'm like, man, it has to be better on hey man, thanks for watching.
Hey, everyone.
I remember, seeing people stream on YouTube. I'm like, that's what it's supposed to be right there. It's so much better on YouTube.
Yeah.
Hey, Fat Red Food, man. How you doing? But so I was like, yeah, it's like let's not do Instagram. And so YouTube is to me a lot more user friendly.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, and a lot more viewer friendly too. Just like I've never watched any streams on Instagram either, just because Instagram doesn't really, to me, seem like a streaming platform. It's more of a, hey, here's some pictures I took, and I'm going to like write up a description about that.
I mean, if you got a video that you're posting or pictures, great. But the streaming a video thing, I mean, some people do it, and that's great. But it's like, for me, I just can't do it. It's hard to watch, and anyway. But not everybody is comfortable doing it on YouTube, so it's like you got to do what you got to do. But so as far as going back to action figures, and as far as people collecting and stuff like that, what was the first line that came out in the 90s? Was it Power of the Force, or what was it called? The orange cards.
Power of the Force 2, I think is what they call it.
Okay. Whatever the first release of the figures, that came out during the 90s or whatever, I remember, there was a few guys in town that one guy, we would actually meet at like a Walmart at like 6 a.m. and like go through what they had, go through what they had on the shelf, and we would go and we'd hit Walmart, Kmart, and there was another store we would hit, and usually we'd get like breakfast or something during that time or whatever. But it was just me and him, but I knew other people bought the stuff, and so there was this doctor in town that I saw that dude everywhere. I don't know exactly what he bought, but I saw him like the next town over sometimes. I mean, I saw him enough. I knew who he was. I knew, when I'd see if I saw him in another toy aisle, it was kind of crazy, because it was like, this dude is from the next town over. I was like, I know exactly who he is, and so anyway, I never went as far as like my buddy did. He would sometimes go in the back of these places and dig and bring out boxes. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing that. It's like, it's like, I'm not doing that. He's like, I've been kicked out a few times. I'm like, well, I guess so, man. I'm not going to be getting kicked out of a toy store because I'm trying to find some Star Wars figures. At that point in time, there were not really any rare ones. You were just trying to find new ones, that hadn't been put out on the shelf yet. And so, man, I bought a shitload of those figures, those and the orange cards and the green cards, and they had for a while where you were chasing lightsabers that had different sizes and stuff.
Yeah, long sabers. Yeah.
Than the other ones. It was like, even with all that, I never even sold one or anything like that. I just bought them and was like, well, I've got them if I ever need. I was just collecting.
Yeah, same. And, the long sabers. That was the chase at the time. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. And
before chase was like a chase, before we kind of knew what that was.
Right. Well, chase slash variant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was, like I said, we didn't really, I think most of us were just happy that they were making Star Wars figures again. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, the older kids like me, it was like, I grew up with the original Star Wars figures and all that stuff. But it was like, I was always like, I hate that I don't have any on cards. I would have liked to have had some on cards, but it's like you didn't think about that when you're a kid. You want to open everything, play with it, And as you get a little bit older, you're like, man, I wish I had some of those on cards just to have. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at that point in time, they were not like super expensive. Hey, Red, what's up, man?
Yeah, they weren't.
They were not super expensive, but I mean, they were getting there. But it's like I just wish that I had I would love to have like an original Jawa on the card. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, that would be kind of cool to have. Some just like I said, just various figures or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to this. So I know you're a big Acid Brain fan. I know that you have a few of the Eagle Force figures.
Yeah, I love Eagle Force. Yeah.
Hey, Bill.
Great line.
Great stream this afternoon. If you guys didn't watch it, go back and watch it. Will had Beta Ray Bob on, and he had on Chad. Yeah. Anyway,
Chad, who's about to launch a Kickstarter for a new O-ring type figure.
Yes.
But this is just before you get all freaked out. This is just one figure.
Another wave of O-ring figures.
Yeah, just one figure. The price point should be pretty low, or pretty reasonable, or the like funding goal, I guess I should say, instead of the price point, should be reasonable. So,
also speaking of O-ring, just wanted to give out I think it's 6 more days for you to back the World War Hell figures.
Yeah. Oh yes, and they are funded. So
they are funded. They're trying to reach their second stretch goal. I think that's what it is. So
while you're chatting about that, let me just pull that up real quick and see how they're doing.
But yeah, anyway, there's a lot of friends of the channel that we would like to definitely give a push for. And I mean, I'm not really big into O-ring figures, but I'm under the feeling that if somebody is going to make a figure and wants to get it made, I am 100% in favor of them getting it made, whether it's O-ring or whatever. It's like the more figures we have out in the universe, the better it is, in my opinion. But yeah, so anyway, DieHard3.75, guys. He has a YouTube channel. If you haven't subbed, please do. It's free. It's free,
It is.
Doesn't cost you a thing.
What's that? Yeah, it doesn't cost you a thing. He is he's on After Us, usually every other Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay. So like I said, it's free. Go ahead and do it. We got Tony. He's here. He's going to show us. We got some pictures that we've got from his Instagram. We're going to talk about toys and stuff. What we normally do here. Sometimes you can have like a action-packed Sunday. I mean, will be going, then we'll be going, and then Tony will be going after that. So it's like it can sometimes be a jam-packed Sunday.
Oh yeah. At some point we need to like cross the streams.
That's right.
Do like those old Saturday morning like mega blocks of like
there you go.
Not mega blocks, but like mega groupings of shows where you used to have.
Right.
Like,
we have a crossover. We have a crossover.
Yeah.
That's right. Our own little secret wars.
There you go. Yeah, a summer crossover between the channels. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So anyway, so here is going to be some of the pics that you sent us. I like this one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just because as you know, I'm a big Acid Rain fan, and it's that's probably it's definitely one of my favorite couple of lines, that and the Eagle Force. Hey, thanks, Fat Red Food. Appreciate
Thank you, Fat Red Food.
But yeah, so Tony basically talks about on his stream 1/18 figures, 1/18 scale figures.
And a good variety of them too, like not just
it's
brand,
like
not just
for me,
toy, but
for me, I'm more of I kind of stick to a small circle of the figures that I get. Acid Rain, Eagle Force, Star Wars figures, and I do Joy Toy and Chicken Fried Toys as well. But I don't really do a lot of the Joy Toy figures or stuff like that. But it's like I see all kinds of figures that Tony has on the show where he's reviewing or talking about, and I'm like, I'm glad somebody talks about them, because it's like you just can't talk about everything on the show. It's like it's glad to have other people hitting like he'll do stuff that we don't even talk about. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I like the variation to where it's not like 3 shows are talking about the same thing over and over and over. We all have sort of a niche that we're sort of talking about, and anyway, I enjoy, basically, for and Marauders too. Yeah, Marauders.
Yeah,
about that.
Is a good one.
Yeah, that's a new one for me kind of now. So, but anyway, so, do you have like a a diorama set up somewhere?
Yeah. This is kind of my world here. I mentioned this before. You probably didn't hear. It's okay. I kind of got the idea to do my world kind of like along the wall here by seeing your setup. You used to sit, I think it was kind of on the side of you. Maybe you moved your desk, or maybe it moved it behind you. I'm not sure, but I kind of got the idea to do this from your setup.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. I currently I have it basically. I just turned this chair. So to get inside how the sausage is made on this show, okay. So for the past, I don't know, year, I guess, this back wall behind me has had various number of shelves that I've ended up buying to increase, the display. And so it's been on that wall for the good part of it, at least a year or so now. And so I've just kind of been expanding down that wall, but like I've got my computer, I'm not even gonna show anybody because it's you would laugh at it, but it's basically on top of a Hammond Collection Spinosaurus box that's on top of a TV dinner tray, like you would buy at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Like it's. I don't have a desk in this area. I don't have a workbench or anything like that. I need to, but it's like, it's it's pretty, low grade up in here. It's mostly just the toys get all the money and I don't, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's where the money goes to. It goes to the toys and not anything else. But yeah, so anyway, I just move the chair around sometimes to get kind of a different look, and so anyway, but
that's cool.
Well, that's awesome, because I was kind of curious to see, like, when I first started, of course, I've said this a million times, people know it, but it's like I just had a small little setup, and I would like change things up, like with every shot, because I didn't want to have like the same type of shot, and I wanted people to sort of think that it was different, you know what I'm saying? And so there was a lot of smoke and mirrors back in those days. I mean, you have some good accessories and you can kind of fudge it to where people, but all you need is just one place, one little thing to start, and it'll grow like,
all by itself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. A spot you got right there. Do you make a lot of stuff, or do you kind of like get it from other people, or both?
Yeah.
Both.
No. Yeah. I have made stuff. I'm not a very good customizer though, or like a builder of things.
Right.
I have done a couple videos where I showed some of my projects, and I'm happy with them. But most of the stuff that I have displayed here is I bought. I spent a lot of money and bought. This is from Hole in the Ground.
Okay.
Hole in the Ground. That picture that you're showing and like this piece are from Epic Woodcraft. And I usually, there's some Empire Toy Works and Grime City. My shout out to Grime City.
I definitely noticed the Grime City back there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you have a similar piece.
I have a piece behind. Yeah, I have a piece behind. I see you have the ghost, right?
Yeah, I got the ghost there.
Nice.
Kind of off camera, I could turn it, but you'll see my room. It's a mess. You were talking about mess. I guess I kind of show you.
You're amongst friends here. Yeah, it's like that's awesome.
A couple other things there. I've got a lot of clothes and things on the ground here, but yeah, I've got some big ticket stuff. I saved up my money and got it, and I'm a big fan of Empire Toy Works, and he's kind of one of the reasons that I joined Instagram is because I was always trying to buy his stuff. Right, it would sell out, and I saw one day, I think probably on Wentzilla's chat that he had with him, he said, I always post what I'm going to sell on Instagram first. And so I was like, I guess I got to join Instagram. I didn't know what Instagram was. I had to have my wife show me how and what it was and how to use it. And once I joined Instagram, he alerts you and says, hey, I've got this new droid bot thing. And only got 10 of them. First come, first serve. And so that was kind of how it started for me. And now I don't need anything now. Now I've got everything. And but yeah, I have a world. My son and I named it Folsom 11. Okay. I'm from Sacramento, which is Folsom is kind of the town right next to us. We're kind of in the same. It's the same thing. Some people, Folsom's famous for the Johnny Cash song "Folsom Prison Blues."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And my son was born in Folsom, and when he was 11, I was even before Instagram. I was like, let's create this world, like Rock Gut, and what will we call it? And he was like, Folsom, because that's where he lives.
Right.
Said, well, let's call it Folsom 11 because you're 11 years old, and we'll kind of remember that we made it. Now he's 15 and a half. And so that's where Folsom 11 came from. And I have an Instagram page. Most of these photos I think we're going to look at are really from there. Because I do most of my world building stuff on that channel or page. Okay. The DieHard page, I do whatever comes to me whenever. So
you're saying you have a hey Hafiz, man. Hey man. He does some great stuff on Instagram. If you're not following him, do it for sure. He's definitely got the best locations, hands down, that he shoots from. I know he travels a lot, so it's like, anyway, thanks for jumping on, man.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So you're saying that you have another Instagram page?
I do. It's called Folsom_11 or Folsom11_, and it's my world building page. That's just like in my world, and I'm one of those people that when they take a picture, I kind of have to have a story in my mind, like what is the picture of, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. And that's what that page is. Where DieHard is kind of whatever I want to do. It might be G.I. Joe, it might be superhero, it could be Turtles. Where the Folsom 11 is my world, my world build. My own universe, my own head story. And that's what this setup is Folsom 11, but Folsom 11 is wherever I shoot a photo and I decide to make it. But yeah. So there's actually another page, another page called Folsom 11.
So so spell that just so I know.
FOL.
Okay, that's what I was doing wrong. I was spelling it wrong. Okay, I got you. Oh, I am following that. Okay, well.
Yeah, I think you're always
sticking with myself.
Okay,
Hafiz now, though.
Yeah, I am.
Hafiz
I am
Toybox.
following. I try to pride myself in following everybody that like tries to world build and stuff like that. And so, anyway, I missed some here and there. And so, anyway, all right. Thanks, Bjorn. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love Empire Toy Works as well. That was actually the first thing that I got that actually started me down this rabbit hole. Was accessories, accessories that he was selling. He had like barrels and boxes and stuff,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I bought those and just sort of built around those, honestly, because it's like, you can have, a diorama piece or something, but it's like, in my opinion, it's like you got to have accessories. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the accessories are probably, the key to the whole thing. In my opinion.
Yeah.
And so there's been a lot of talk lately on the interwebs that he may or may not be like slowing down with production of his stuff. And I kind of think he's just taking a break personally because, I'm sure it takes a long time to make the stuff he's making. And honestly, he probably really doesn't need the money for it. You know what I'm saying? It's just a hobby thing, but it's like, it's one of the things, is the hobby sort of turning into a job, you know what I'm saying? And so, but I think he'll put more stuff out. And, it's, like I said, I hope he does anyway, because I like this. I think we're, we're a little bit better to have him in the community, because I like to get stuff from everybody, as much as I can, at least. I don't have anything from the Epic Woodcraft yet, and so I've been like sort of reaching out to the guy. I know Texas Customs was on here, and he's got a few things from him, and so I'm like, I'm very interested in getting something from him right now. So anyway, we'll just go to the...
I saw that show. That was a good show too. Yeah, Texas Customs. Yeah, but yeah, Empire hasn't done anything for quite some time.
Yeah, I think it's been like March or April or something since he sold anything. And I bought one of the speeders from him, I guess, when it was like early in the year. I'd always seen them, and I was like, I'd kind of like to get one. And so when he had his first go up, I just immediately bought it, right? And I was like, okay, awesome, And then he had like two more colors show up like right after that. I'm like, well, hell shit. I was like, I wish I'd have known that. I'd have got one of the other colors, but I was like, oh well, so at least I got one now, But anyway, all right. So I do like the fact that so I'm assuming, will you customize any of your figures? You know what I'm saying? Or you pretty much just kind of leave them as is and just work around
a little bit of both. I did create like my own avatar and an avatar for my son and my brother. And those are like completely just kit bashes of lines together. But no, I don't like to paint, especially figures. I like to paint larger things with spray paint.
Right.
But no, I'm not too much. If I customize a figure, I usually kit bash. I don't cut things. I don't like to paint things. I have, and I've never been happy with how they turn out. So I don't have too many custom figures. I really don't. Maybe 3 or 4. But I have done a few things, and I've thought about showing them, but I'm always a little self-conscious because I know that there's guys out there, some of you guys watching, you do such good stuff, and it's inspiring, but it also shows my lack of experience and knowledge. And I don't like cutting up figures and stuff and then it not turning out, and I just go, oh, I just wasted $15 because I chopped up this figure and it didn't work. So I guess I'm kind of a miser when it comes to that. Kind of like you said, I spend so much money on the toys. It's, if I could lose one or if I chop it up because had some idea, and so I don't do it too often.
There's a lot to be said for kit bashing. I mean, that definitely is how I sort of started it. You know what I'm saying? I don't really do a lot of customization, but I mean, I do paint stuff now occasionally. I hate my paint work. I hate it. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing if I'm like putting a wash on a figure. You know, that to me is something that you know, that I'm more comfortable with than actually straight up painting something, just because, man, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of people that do it a lot better, but it's like, you know, at the end of the day, if you want a certain figure to look a certain way, I mean, I'd rather like try to make it myself than try to spend the money for somebody else to do it, just because, you know, I'm kind of a tightwad when it comes to stuff like that, you know, and so, and my, you know, another thing is like, I want my version, you know, my version of the figure, you know what I'm saying? I want, you know, I want it to be done by me, you know? And so I like having custom figures by other people. And I've sent people, you know, custom figures that I've made before. And I never feel good about them just because I'm like, you know, this guy sent me this cool picture that he sent me this figure that he painted and he did stuff with, and I'm just basically I'm just kit bashing, and then, you know, just, I feel like it's so, you know, not good, you know, compared to what I got in, you know, in the trade or whatever, that I'm like, you know, it's from me, and that's what you get from me. You know, it's like, I'm not the best. So, anyway.
Yeah, I'm a lot better with buildings, like putting together larger pieces, you know, and spray painting and gluing, getting doors from hole in the ground and painting them and sticking them on something. And that's a lot easier. I'm a little more proud of that stuff. And I've shown a few of those things on the channel, but not the figures. I don't know if it's because it's so small or,
you know, it's you know, it's one of those things you definitely want to feel comfortable with whatever you've done or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And I have got to where like I said, you know, there's been some times where I have not shown figures that I made just for the simple fact that I'm like, man, this is junk, and just throw it in the pile. And I'm like, he'll be a background character at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I might put some soft goods on him just to cover up what I did, just because he looks so terrible, you know? But anyway, yeah, it's like, we're all just learning how to do this, really, and it's supposed to be for fun and all that stuff, but it's like, whether you paint a figure or you don't paint a figure, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's like, it's whatever you're wanting to do for your world and stuff like that. That's what it all you know, matters.
Definitely
100%.
The Skeletron figure, the what do they call that guy in the black?
The Direwolf.
Yeah, that's it. To me, it's all Skeletron or Robo Skull. It doesn't matter what the name is. That's just what I call it all. You know what I'm saying? That's a cool one I haven't got yet. I haven't got the green one yet either. I've only got the one that came with the Robo Skull. And so I do plan on getting more. I do like those figures, and I hope they make more. And I hope they go, like, I hope they continue to put out more figures, because I think it's a really great company. And I want to see what they do. You know, I'm going to keep seeing more figures from them.
Well, now Marauders actually makes the figures. They're just released under the Skeletron branding.
Oh, is that
to go with the Robo Skull? Yeah, so that's
so they make all
the
bodies are from Marauders.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Or at least I'm 90% sure. If I'm wrong, Bjorn, please correct me in the comments.
Yeah, I have no idea. I always thought that they made those figures for themselves, and then they just swap a few parts here and there, you know, with them. I wish I'd have got that. Wasn't that a 4-pack, Tony, of the Star Wars Denizens, or was it a 3-pack?
Yeah,
I know it had Squid Head and another human guy.
Yeah, maybe it was 4. Yeah,
I missed
Yeah,
that
I think
one.
it
I
was a
hate
4.
that I did. I hate that I missed that one. I wish they would do a re-release in that one, just because
yeah,
somehow it slipped through the cracks, and I didn't get it or see it or something. And man, those things are kind of expensive now.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I did get it right when it came out, so
Nice,
I
nice.
saved a little bit.
Oh, they'll re-release it eventually, though.
Hopefully, like single carded, and you don't have to, because it was expensive to get 4 at one time. It was
right.
It was
Yeah.
expensive.
That's the only 3-pack, or that's the only pack that has been kind of hard for me to get, I guess, because I got the 3-pack of the one for the Java's Goons that it was out a couple of years ago. It had like 2 Nikto guys and then a guy with like a black helmet or whatever, and that one I got pretty reasonable. But I do like the lighting that you have on some of these shots. I know that it can be tricky sometimes doing lighting and stuff.
Yeah, so I think as we go through these, you guys will see I kind of used the same filter. And in my mind, Folsom 11, it has, although there's different environments, the look is kind of all the same. You can kind of hopefully tell that it's from the same place. So they're all fairly dark. My wife helps me with them and kind of says, "Oh, I don't like that," or "That one's a good one." And so she's kind of my editor when it comes to that.
Nice.
But yeah, they're all a little bit on the darker tone. And a friend haven't talked to in a long time, I didn't understand lighting, same kind of thing like with videos. I didn't understand. He's like, "Oh no, you got to have at least 3 lights, and I'm like, "You do?" Like, I just have open the window and take a shot. And no, you need a light over here and one on the top and then one over here. And I was like, oh, I had no idea. And I thought my photos.
I didn't know that. So it's news to me.
Yeah, I just got my phone out and went boop, and was like, "Oh, that's great." And I guess the amateur that I am, it showed.
Yeah. So there are a lot of guys that really do lighting well. Starboy Station does it really well. So does Fat Red Foo. A lot of other guys, do really lighting really well. I've just drawn a blank, honestly, just because I know I see stuff from them all the time. But it's like, to me, in my opinion, it's basically whatever looks good to you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, even though it may not look good to you, other people would still like it. You know what I'm saying? It's because I'm like, most of the time I take my shots like in daytime, and a lot of times, like I have a window like right there. And it is good for shots like in the early morning, and in the evening, just because the way the sun is positioned, like it's because the sun pretty much comes up like this, and so it has a good like spot for the sun to hit it. And so after that, though, it's just we're going to be pretty much just light from the the ceiling, and so I don't really like that one so much. And so
Toyax, hey.
Yes, Toyax, man. It's like, follow him if you're not, because he has some dynamic shots. And
he hits the real locations.
Yeah,
like he's on the top of a mountain somewhere.
Yeah, it's like super good. Like I've been following him for a couple of years now, and I definitely enjoy seeing his pictures.
Yeah,
and so super good work that he does.
One thing I want to follow up here on MCR's post.
Okay,
there are 4 lights. 4 lights. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, just had to pull
Nobody told me,
there.
So thanks, friends in the community, for not telling me about 4 lights or 3 lights or however many lights, because I've got I will say, when I first started, I didn't have any lights.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And so in the end, I bought a couple of those like little hexagon lights that you can get like the Dollar Tree or whatever. And so I used some of those, in various positions, because I'm not like a carpenter or electrician like Joel and Fat Red Foo, so it's like I had to like position them in certain ways to get them. And then my wife bought me one of those ring lights for Christmas, you know, and it's it has the red, blue, green colors and all that stuff. And so I started using that. And so I really sort of favored the orange shade that it had there. And if you've looked at my Instagram,
That's your color.
there's a lot of those pictures where it has like an orange tint to it, sort of.
Yeah.
So that's what I use a lot of times. And then but it's like I like to have like night shots too, you know, and so but I'm not very good at it. And so I'm always wanting like a cyberpunk-esque, you know, type of look, but it's like it doesn't really work out for me because I don't have the right type of lights or whatever. And honestly, I don't really know what I'm doing. But I've got another like a LED light that I have, kind of like a ring light, but it's a square. And so I have two lights now that I can position in different areas to kind of give like a different look to. And honestly, I probably still, you know, take 25 pictures and I'm trying to figure out what's the best looking one, you know, as I'm changing the different colors from different lights and stuff. And so anyway, it's fun, but like I said, it's something that I definitely need to like get figured out. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, me too.
But yeah, but for sure,
Same here.
This figure is super awesome. Yeah, I love this granted.
Fun one. Yeah, I don't know anything about the Warhammer stuff, but you know, right, like this shot, it's just a monster, and I remember when I shot this, I thought, who would fight this monster? Who would be brave enough to fight this monster? And I was like, it'd be Dooku. You know, he wouldn't try to kill it. He would try to like make its mind its own and then use it. You know, like because it's how small creatures, right? Weak-minded, they're easier to. So he's actually in this photo. I know this is the story in my mind though. He's actually trying to do the force thing on it to get it to.
Nice.
Into his will, kind of a thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So
good luck with that.
Yeah. So yeah, they have lights built in and stuff like that. And it's like for me, it's like, man, I sometimes forget to turn these off. I can just imagine, you know, having other various light sources where I've got to turn off and stuff like that. But so I know a little bit about Warhammer, and when they first started making the Marines, I was like, man, it's like they're not really going to do anything for me unless they ever, you know, eventually make Tyranids, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, if they ever make those, I'm in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I feel like I would buy a crap load of those guys because they make a good bad guy, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know. And so, anyway, so yeah, they're pretty cool. And I like to see them. I don't have any yet. Because it's like, man, you can't buy everything that comes out. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I have too much money, I guess, devoted towards Acid Rain figures to where I don't, you know, I don't have a lot of Joy Toy money sometimes. But I'm like trying to like, you know, it's like juggling for me, as I've said before. It's like you've only got so much money to spend, and it's like I have these stories in my mind about like what direction I want to go and what kind of thing I want to tell. And it's like, you know, there's only so much room, you know, for that stuff. But, you know, really good shots, man. I'm kind of jealous because I don't have that Dooku or those Terrans right now. So it's like, I saw Dooku sort of slip through the cracks. And it's like, man, I usually pre-order or pretty much get like every Star Wars figure that comes out. But it's like lately I've just kind of like, I don't know, man. It's there's just been an overload of figures, you know, from all the companies coming out, you know. And so
absolutely.
I like that shot right there too. It's like super good. There's T-Rex money and there's Georgia money. Yeah, there's all kinds of money out there, MCR. It's just, you know, it just depends on what you want to spend it on, right? And so anyway, but that's awesome. Like I said, I got to track down one of those Dooku.
Speaking of the Tyranids, if you like the Hammond collection dinosaurs, you will love the Tyranids.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
They're like other sorts of like creatures you can add to your world.
Yeah, and I want to say there's like 6 or 7 different kind or different types or something. I
Yeah.
think. So it's
Yeah,
like
Mhm.
the one thing about Joy Toy is it's like they're not just going to make one of something; they're going to
No.
make all the versions of it. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they've only started to like scratch the surface of the Tyranids, according to like Warhammer
There's
40K
there's a
lore.
lot other ones. I mean, honestly, they sort of just scratched the surface in general. You know, because
Mm-hmm.
they only released the towel, like one set of the towel, right?
Yeah.
And so they have like because that's the towel because they have the Dark Eldar that they could do. You know what I'm saying? It's like
When
there's
they did
all
the Dark
kinds of
Eldar,
other
I'm screwed.
yeah
I'm just completely screwed.
yeah
Especially if they do the more like the witches and the Hellions from that
right
line. Oh yeah,
right. So let me ask you a question. So I saw this earlier.
this is cool.
Was that was that the I forget the name of the bird thing.
Yeah.
Did you get it off a Big Bad Toy Store?
No, I actually got it off of Hobby Link Japan.
Okay.
Good sound.
It's from the Studio Ghibli Nausicaa.
Gotcha.
And
So how do you like that?
Oh, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I wish, I could have got 2, but I only got the 1. And man, it's a beautiful piece of plastic, man. It can bend and do everything. I think the figures that go with it are actually like 5-inch, but 1/18 fits just fine on it. Perfect. But yeah, it's a great piece. My wife turned me on to Studio Ghibli stuff, and actually she wants me to give this to her.
Well, you got to convince her to get 2. You know what I'm saying?
And there you go.
One for you and one for her, and 2 for you to take shots of.
Yeah.
So,
No, I love that thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I have seen you. I saw you had that, and I think maybe a couple other people I saw had them, and I regret not getting one. But I mean, at the time, I just was like, I was like, I love this, but it's like I didn't know like how like rare it was going to be because it's like it popped up on Big Bad, and it's like it was there and it was gone, and I'm like, damn, So
Yeah.
if they ever
blue.
re-release this thing again, I'm definitely going to grab one just because it looks. I mean, you can do some great shots with it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, it's so well done.
It's
It's so
blue.
well done. I think I heard about it actually on like a Robo Don't Know when he was still on the Floosh. He never talks about small stuff, but I guess this kind of got through because it's really for like 5-inch figures.
right, yeah.
And that was how I heard about it. And I pre-ordered it on Hobby Link Japan. I think that's probably the only purchase I've ever made on Hobby Link Japan.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't. I saw it somewhere. I think maybe somebody had one or something, and I immediately like went to Big Bad or something. And like I said, I had a shot to get it, but I think it was like $60 or $70 or something like that. I think maybe. Yeah. And I was like, that's kind of a lot for something for me to spend on that I don't know anything about as far as like the the quality of it or something like that. Because I'd hate to spend like $60 or $70 and then get the thing and it just kind of like crumbles or like super loose or something. But
yeah,
I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, each it probably has like four points of articulation just in the neck, so you can kind of get it in.
Oh wow,
it's kind of weird. I think each one of those layers of feathers is a little joint in there, and this one, it was hard. When I was trying to get you photos, this was from a reel, and the reels, they flip, every 2 seconds, so I couldn't get the rest of them. I just couldn't time it and to screenshot it. But I try to use this thing as much as I can. I use this with my fantasy stuff too, like Boss Fight Studio.
Right.
Put a knight on it, a knight of the sword. So it has a lot of dual kind of purpose.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can definitely it could be a sci-fi animal or it could be like a fantasy animal. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You can definitely get your multiple uses out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of, I've always liked this shot too. I love those Joy Toy figures. I've got like 3 of those guys, and they were like one of the first ones I ever got. And I sort of started army building that guy because they're like the ice swords or something like that. Is what they're called. You know, they had like the white one, the green one, the red one, and the I guess the black one, I guess, or gray one or something. But anyway, that's pretty much their armored up sort of guy that they've had for a while. But this was like back for like 3 and 4 or 5 years ago when they were releasing these guys. But yeah, I love those guys. I don't post them near enough. They're pretty much just in a drawer now. But it's like every once in a while, I'm like, man, I need to do a picture of those guys because like I love them. You know, I love the the sort of Spartan like helmet for those guys. And honestly, you can pop their head off and put like a lot of different heads on there to make them look like a human or alien or something like that. Anyway, they're super cool. And even the Skeletons, man, it's like those are him fighting the Skeletons. It's like that. I think I've said this before, and I don't ever mean to be offensive or anything, but it's like I think that might be the best thing that Skeletron has done. Is make that head right there, just because it's so good and it'll fit on anything and everything, pretty much.
Yeah, it is.
Like I want to see them follow that up. I want to see something else. I want to see another head sculpt like that. From them, just because it's like I said, it's awesome.
One of the best.
So I tried to sort of put some pictures in order by the way I kind of thought they would be, but I'm assuming this is looking into this guy, right?
Yeah. So he that's I didn't get you a shot of. I got a jail cell that I got from Grime City.
Okay.
That bubble is the skylight to the jail cell.
Oh, nice.
And
Okay.
I just kind of, I thought it had a lot of character to it. It's just like you could see what it is, but
right, yeah.
You're kind of like left wondering what. But if the other pictures were here, you would see the guy. He's actually locked up in jail. He's in Folsom Prison in Folsom 11, and this I took actually quite a long time after. I really like this figure. This is one of the Fresh Monkey Fiction figures. I know if Jeff is still here. We love the bubble helmet, and
for sure.
I just love that figure. There's not a lot to it. It's but it's got all the things that I like in it. And so I've shot this guy several times actually. This Lash Lightning, I think is his name. Lightning Lash.
Yep.
So I love the colors. Like I think the colors just all go together, and so I don't have that figure, believe it or not. But is that the bubble helmet that comes with him?
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah.
I think those colors all work well with each other, for that guy. And so that's pretty cool. Is that a Grime City
bench?
Bench. Okay. I figured that was the case.
Yeah, I got I think 2 of those benches, and they're fantastic. They're like a park bench, but grimed up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of grime, he kind of like Empire. He hasn't really done a lot of stuff quite a while.
Yeah, I want to say he was working on some apartments or some kind of apartment things. One of the last things that I saw, and for me, it's I can't have anything too big. You know what I'm saying? Just because I've got plenty of room, but it's like I don't want something that's just going to be like way bigger than everything else I have, because I kind of want things to kind of sort of look together and stuff. And so, Michael, please don't say that.
Yeah, I was going to say,
there's people crying in the chat. They don't have any,
I can think of several people that will buy those.
Yeah, don't ever throw them away anymore. So it's like there's people who are desperately wanting bubble helmets. You know what I'm saying? So,
they're cool.
But I love Grime City stuff. I just, like I said, I just don't have the money to get, as much stuff as I want from people, because I get stuff, from Timbo Toys, and I get stuff from, Starboy Station. And, we send some stuff to each other, and Fatback, and I've had stuff from, Amrak Spot that Josh has sent me. And I wanted, when I first started doing this, I wanted to have like something from everybody, to where, there might be some figures that I bought, but it was going to be pretty much, you could just kind of be like, hey, they're walking through, all the people I know's stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of worked out to where I've got several pieces from people, and like I said, I'd love to get more, but like I said, you think it's hard enough trying to get all the figures. It's even more harder trying to get diorama pieces from people. You know what I'm saying? Just because those are way more expensive than just the figures.
Well, some of the independent makers, it's like having the cash on hand when it's available. Because if you don't, then
that's another thing.
Going to pick it up.
It's like just because I don't have the money right now, because it's like it seems like everybody puts out their best stuff when I'm broke,
Isn't it funny how that happens?
Yeah, I was like, damn, I would love to get that, but I don't have any toy money right now, or I'll just spend it, and then somebody that hadn't had anything for months, pops out with something. I'm like, well, damn. I'm like, now anyway. It's just part of it, It's like you can't get everything from everybody and all that stuff. So it's like you just kind of have to go with it. Brett makes stuff all the time, and I'm like, I used to try to get something every time he made something, but it's like, he's put out to where at this point in time I'd have to have a second job to get all the stuff he makes, just because, I'm saving for Joe Fest. I'm always saving for Joe Fest.
Yeah, Joe Fest 26.
That's right.
Starting to save now.
That's right. Have you got anything from Timbo Toys?
No, I wanted to. I almost got. He did a really cool. I think it was like a flat building before maybe even Empire did, and it was two-sided, and you could do Black Series or Vintage Collection, and he sold it. And I'm kind of out of the diorama game now because I have stuff. Yeah. But I tried to. That was a really good. That was one of his greatest, creations. But I didn't get a chance to get it sold. I wasn't the only one, and
right.
Said, and they got it. But it was really nice, and it looked kind of grimy. It looked like a little bit of a grimy. He's really good with paint.
Yeah. I think he's gotten better over the past few years. Not to say that the earlier stuff wasn't good or anything, but it's like I like his stuff that he's making now. A lot more than the earlier stuff. But it's like he's still, I still love the early stuff. Early stuff I got. And I kind of know the feeling too, because like being out of the diorama game, it's like I'm kind of at the point right now where I'm kind of out of the diorama game, because it's like, I've got 4 shelves behind me, and they all have stuff on the top of it. And that's pretty much as far as I'm going to go as far as like the top shelf. The other 2 shelves are pretty much like storage and stuff like that, or occasionally a small, setup or something. But I'm at the point right now to where I've got more pieces than I have shelf space, and so I'm having to try to like rearrange stuff and try to get but anyway, Timbo, his comic book shop is definitely it's on the Mount Rushmore of great pieces, for sure.
I definitely need to get some of Timbo's stuff.
I would say everybody, I know pieces are a little bit more expensive than figures and stuff, but it's like you're basically paying for a piece that you're going to have as long as you want to keep it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, if you take pictures or you use it, you definitely will get your money out of it. You know what I'm saying? Just because, I always kind of look at things like this. The more I use something, the less the price comes down. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I spent, $100 on this one thing or whatever, each time I move it or something, that's $1, right? So it's like I'm basically, getting so many uses out of it to where it's, anyway, that's my logic anyway. So this was a nice shot. So is that the Marvel Legends dog?
It is,
Okay.
yeah. And that's the same. That's Lash Lightning again, but without the bubble. I used the helmet.
Right. The helmet, yeah.
Yeah,
And I hate that I didn't
there.
get that one too, because I really like the way that figure's colors and stuff look. And so maybe if they ever put those figures up for sale that they have in boxes, maybe we'll get a shot at those. Maybe.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Give time to get his garage fixed up and
Right.
his shipping area set back up, and
Yeah.
There may be another chance, people.
yeah.
So, there's
a couple acid rain guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool,
forgot oak and citrus, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And they're kind of the graffiti guys in my world, the taggers.
Yeah, that's what I bought oak for, very specifically, which is that very reason right there.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything yet as far as graffiti or anything, but it's like it's on the pile of stuff to do,
Yeah. After I shot this, I remember this shot because you remember they come with fancy shoes. That was like part of the New Balances, like the gimmick.
Right. Yeah.
And I dropped one and I could never find it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was so mad.
That's
they're
horrible.
expensive. And
Yeah, for sure.
Just like in real life, if you only have one shoe,
yeah,
the whole pair is no good, really.
That's right. Yeah. I ended up getting him, I guess, when he went on sale for Big Bad. I don't know if you did, but I
think I got him at Pia Club.
Okay. Yeah, they were definitely cheaper there than they were on Big Bad because they have like an extreme markup because I don't even know why. I guess because it's like an exclusive figure with New Balance in them, but
yeah.
When they went on sale, I definitely grabbed one up. So
plus, like Big Bad has to ship it in from China just like anybody else. So
yeah, but I mean that figure is basically just a regular acid rain figure, and it's like $75 on Big Bad, and I'm like, all the exclusive stuff is more expensive on Big Bad for whatever reason. Like they have to pay some kind of, I don't know, maybe they're charging more for the exclusive figures, I guess, for rights or whatever.
Maybe.
But yeah, I don't know. But yeah. I was gonna say I have so what color shoes did you get? Did you lose?
It must be that pair right there.
Okay.
Yeah, it fell off. This is when I had Folsom 11 in my garage.
Gotcha.
And it fell off, and I swear I looked everywhere. I blew the garage with a blower into a pile, like everything that was in there, to see if I could find it. So I don't know. It must have fell in a box or a tub, but never found it. Never found it.
That sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so. Because Kit loves to do collabs with people, and so it seems like those are usually more expensive figures. I don't have that one yet, but I've heard good things. I think everybody's like, that's the Rogue figure. You know what I'm saying? That's sort of the Rogue figure with the head sculpt, anyways. And so I know
the earlier version of that one with like the yellowish gold.
The Android
plating, plating over her like cybernetics and stuff.
Yeah. I really didn't know how those things were going to sell at first. I'm like, man, I'm not sure that people are going to be interested in those. But nope, that was totally wrong. They sold out like in a heartbeat, and so and they barely even had any like on Big Bad when they came over. But those Muppets in the back are great.
Yeah.
I've seen various people use those, and I'm like, that's such a great use for those, because they're great, just alien looking figures,
Yeah, they're on a stand there. I did it pretty, when I darkened it, you
Yeah, because I can barely see like the plastic. Because at first I was like, man, I was like, he's got those set up pretty well because they look like they're just kind of floating there, until you just kind of like really like sort of zoom in on it. But yeah. So I noticed, so you got a couple of the speeders, I see.
Yeah. I bought a speeder from Empire a couple of years ago, and then I only got one, and then he never really did any for a year, almost a year and a half, and then one day they were there. So I was like, I've been waiting for this for a year and a half, and I
right. So those I noticed those figures. Are those the Beast Box figures?
Those are they're 52
toys. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I can't remember what they're called. They were on these really, really cool card backs that I do like to do some things mint on card, but I have too much mint on card, so I ripped those open. They're a lot of fun. I forgot what they're called. Is it hex bots or?
I remember those were probably the first ones I was kind of interested in that they made because they were like, oh, there's like a humanoid looking figure instead of an animal, you know what I'm saying, or something like that, and I'm like, that's cool, and so I never got them, but it's like I always like that's an option, for those figures, like I said, they kind of look cool. I was like, I just don't know how they would be because I don't have any of the other, things that they've made, but they look good.
Yeah, they're cool. The plastic that they use is a little different. But it's good. It's just it's different,
Right.
And you can tell when you hold it in your hand, it's like lighter.
Right.
But yeah, those are. I think Empire called those barrel speeders.
Gotcha.
I think that was what he called it.
I've got one of the I guess one of the more the regular ones he's done. It's the
Hexanoid. That's it.
The sort of square body speeders.
Yeah, those are good.
I don't know where it's at. I'm in the middle of like doing some rearranging right now, so I don't really have a whole lot of stuff out. But yeah, so okay, so all right, so that's an acid rain. I should say vehicle, I guess. Yeah. What's your opinion on that?
I really like it. It was expensive though, and it's my first time I've ever got a vinyl figure. I didn't know what that was. So Fubi, I had no idea what that was. I was a little surprised because it is hollow, and it's a lot of fun though, man. It is a lot of fun, I have to admit, and it photographed really well. That's the ship mode there.
Yeah. It turns into a ship. It turns into a ship pretty much, right? By folding it or whatever to a certain way.
Yeah, and it's not a transformer, so there's like two things. You turn a couple things and it's done.
Right.
So it's not very complicated, but you can fit a guy in it, so it's a one-seater. But it photoed really well. It's a lot of fun. I was actually just looking at it again the other day. I wanted to bring it out, but it is rather large. It's probably, well, you can see there, it's probably about 8 inches tall.
Right.
So, but it's 1/18 scale. But yeah, those yellow boxes there in front. Those are like, I painted those. That's something that I painted. I bought those like gray. Someone sells like the 3D printed gray ones. And I actually tried to use glow in the dark paint on the yellow to see if it would work. It didn't really work that well. I don't think I did it right. But yeah, I really like that thing, but it is hollow. So, some people that if you pay a lot and then you pick it up and you're like, well, this feels cheap, but it's vinyl. That's
so Fubi, I think is sort of the, I guess that's sort of the term for that type of stuff, because I knew what that was before he started making those, because there was like they were made like Godzilla figures, and they make like all kinds of like figures with
man.
Jaggy Knight, right? Jaggy collects.
Yeah, Jaggy.
Yeah, I think that's how I heard about it, was him.
Yeah, because he put out a red one first, right? Wasn't there a red one of these?
No, there's this one, and I got a green one. It's the same exact one, but it's green. There might be a third one. There might be a red one too.
I could be like thinking that into existence. I knew there was two, but for me, I was like, at first, I was like, okay, that would definitely fit in my area, but it's like the price was just kind of like, man, I just, it's like I've got to, I have to live vicariously through other people with these,
Yeah, it's basically, I think, like it had 4 points of articulation.
Right, right.
That's it. So I know some people, oh, that's, it's not enough. And maybe they're right.
I mean, to me, it's like, if you're a fan of Acid Rain and you got it, it's like you can't really, you can't say anything bad about it because it's like you're just supporting the line and all that. And anyway, yeah, I just, like I said, it was one of the things where I'm like, oh, no, I might have passed. So, yeah, I thought there was a red one, but I could be mistaken. But so Joy Figures, Warhammer. Oh no, this is the Warhammer.
Yeah, this is Warhammer.
Yeah,
I forgot the name of these guys.
They're like I forget the exact name. They're like some sort of like augmented Imperial Guard, or
I'm gonna start with K or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Astra Militarum.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
But I don't have any of these, but I almost pulled the trigger on a couple of them just because I kind of liked the way they looked, and I was going to have them be, because they're a little bit taller than your Star Wars figures and stuff like that, and so I was like, they could, there's, are they the? I don't know if those.
No, these aren't Death Corps.
No, those are the other guys.
They're similar. Death Corps had the like almost like trench coat.
Yeah, the trench coat guy,
and the gas mask
stuff.
The more skull looking gas mask. Yeah.
But it's like I thought about getting a couple of these just to use as like just to sort of break the scale up a little bit, because they definitely look like, okay, so do these guys belong here, or are they just kind of walking through? You know what I'm saying? It's like on their way somewhere else. And so they made like 5 or 6 different versions of them, something like that.
Yeah. I think that's all I have is just these ones right here. But yeah, there are some other ones.
I think I like the ones with the helmets. I think, just because I love like troopers or like robot, sort of looking figures or stuff like that, and so yeah, those are pretty cool. And they come with some accessories, right? With like each one of them has like a different accessory or something.
Yeah, I think the guy in the front with the briefcase, I think he's the medic. I think
Gotcha.
There's like a blowtorch guy and a laser guy and there's a couple there. These shots, when I took the photo, I actually the first one before this, I got all my Empire Toyworks buildings and just kind of put them on top of each other and then got low. I wanted it to look like they were in the middle of a city.
Right.
That one,
Yeah, for sure.
Those are just stacked on top of each other. And I guess if you look to the left there, you can actually see my real garage.
Gotcha.
But I thought it worked.
It was a good shot, man. Yeah, it was a good shot.
Yeah. Again, dark, kind of a dark.
Yeah, for sure.
Overlay. But yeah, that helmet, that's so cool.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Especially with the little skull and the spike on top.
Right.
Yeah, I think the story behind this one too is they're looking up, and because they're about to get picked up, they're like their transport's on the way, and
gotcha. Yeah,
the helicopters coming down.
So here's the thing. So I don't have any like buildings by Empire Toyworks, and so I'm always curious to see like. So these are like his older ones, right?
Yeah, they were a lot cheaper a couple years ago,
right?
And that's when I got most of them.
Yeah, that's been a thing that's kind of been like, that's like I can't spend that kind of money on, it's like
it's amazing because like one of the things that I bought, it was actually 2 buildings, and it was a couple $100 less than what he sells.
Right, yeah.
So I guess they were expensive then, but now they'd be like a steal compared to what he sells them for now.
Okay. All right.
Luckily, I'm out of the game though. I'm like, I don't need any more.
Right. I'd like to get one piece, but it's like, man, I just cannot really justify the price. Like, if it was half the price, I would probably pull the trigger. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I mean, I get it. You know, it's his name that's pushing it, and the fact that he sells them all the time is you know, that's the one thing. It's the 100%. It's like if he wasn't selling them, that he'd drop the price. You know what I'm saying? But he sells them every time.
Every time.
Every time.
It's amazing, huh?
Yeah, it's like I'd love to get one, but it's like I just, you know, I just can't do it. So tell me something. So what is your favorite? Do you have a favorite line? You know that you're
the
buying?
TBC. Yeah, the vintage collection is actually my favorite line.
Right.
And that's if I had to stop collecting, you know, today, and I can only collect one line, I probably would just collect the vintage collection.
Right.
But there's just, you know, so many good lines out there.
I know, man. I know.
You can't have them all, and
it's tough. It's tough because it's like Acid Rain kind of got me into doing this, you know, because it was like, you know, I was not really buying any figures at the time. And well, I was buying third-party Transformers, and those were not cheap. But it's like this was right before COVID or whatever, and so that was really figures I was buying, you know. And then the Mandalorian came out or whatever, and so I sort of fell in love with Star Wars again with that. And the Acid Rain figures, man, were just like they were cool. I mean, they were something I'd never seen before, and they were like, you know, they had wash on them and stuff, you know, and so it sort of opened up a new door for my thinking as far as like, you know, I'd love to be able to take pictures of these or something and maybe make a scene with them, you know, at some point. You know, and that was after, you know, of course, I saw Empire Toy Works or, you know, Sky Bottom and all the other people that were world building at the time, you know. But yeah, so it was, you know, it was basically Acid Rain that basically got me into it. And so I'm probably gonna, you know, keep getting them for a while. You know, I've cut back a little bit, but it's like there are some that I see that I'm like, I like it, I might get it, and there's some like I'm like, yeah, I'll pass, and then there's some that's like, definitely got to get a couple of those dudes. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah,
I can't fight that. I've got to get a couple of those. But yeah, man, great pictures. I like those guys. Like I said, I may at some point screw around and get one of them at least, just because I like to have a little bit of variety. And I think they're probably a little bit cheaper now than what they were when they first came out. So
yeah, they are. I think they go on sale. These ones go on sale.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the last picture. So so what do you got going on right now? What are you working on?
So I'm probably going to I've got one more G.I. Joe video in me. I was trying to get it done for like Yojo June, but I didn't get it done in time. So I'm probably going to do a Joe video pretty soon.
Is it Hiya or is it something else?
Yeah. No, Hiya Toys. Yeah, Hiya Toys. The Zartan. I think Bob's got it.
Yeah, that's a good figure.
Is it? I have a really big Zartan collection. When I do a Joe video, I usually try to show you guys or whoever's watching all my Flints, all my Destros, and compare the new one to it. So I have a lot of Zartans. So that's going to be a fun one. And I've got those new Boris Ping figures, a couple of them, not all of them. So I think I'm going to try to do a video on those. Someone, I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, kind of said, hey, I'd like to see those. So I'm probably going to do a video on those, but I'll do my live stream next Sunday around 6:05 Pacific time. And that's probably my week there. I hope that I can do 2 videos and then the live stream, and that'd be like a full week for me.
Bob, you good?
Oh, I'm good. Can you hear me okay? Like it looks
fine.
like my video is frozen, but
okay, I can hear you.
I'm still able to like click on stuff.
I was gonna say blink twice if you're in trouble.
No, I don't think I can.
Gotcha.
But that's okay.
All right.
So you're gonna stream next week, Tony?
Yeah, next Sunday, probably around 6:05
Okay.
I'll probably come on and talk the news. I think that's the day that the Kickstarter Grindhouse it should end. I think it'll be over that day, so we'll probably do like a little recap and deep dive into what unlocked, what didn't, and that kind of a thing.
Cool.
And then I think that will be there'll be San Diego Comic-Con in 2 weeks after. So I'm sure there'll be, I think Hasbro's going to be there. So maybe some Star Wars will be revealed there. I think even Toys Alliance goes to San Diego Comic-Con. So I'm hoping there'll be some news about that. But yeah, that's
because they'll have their exclusive there, right? That we'll have to try to run all over to try to get, like, when's it going to hit PIA Club? PIA Club, when's it going to hit? Like, are we going to find them? Are we going to be able to get them? It's like everybody's like, I've got Job Along. When you see them, because he lives on over there, he's like, I was like, when you see them go up, message me. You know what I'm saying? So like, I know when they go online.
Yeah. They go
yeah.
fast.
Yeah, he'll probably have a 2 or 3 figures, probably 2 figures and one with a vehicle or something. It's usually what the standard operating procedure is for him with that.
Yeah, I've never had one of those.
Hopefully it won't just be more of the 6-inch figures, because I'm not really I'm not going down the rabbit hole of 6-inch Acid Rain figures for Acid Rain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me either.
It's what I'm getting is what I'm getting. I'm not going to break into a new scale with that. What about you, Bob? What are you working on?
Not a whole lot at the moment. Been trying to get those that big tub of figure stands that I picked up at Joe Fest onto figures.
Right.
Got the droids and the Mandalorians done. Got the rest of the factions to work on, but it's kind of slow going because I have to modify the peg on most all the stands, because Star Wars figures their peg holes are all over the place.
Yeah. It looks like a lot of work at some point, but
it's not too bad, but it does eat up some time having to file down those pegs to get them to fit.
Okay. All right. Well, Tony, we definitely appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Yeah. Thank you for joining.
We'll get you back on at some point.
I'd love to come back. Thank you guys for inviting me. Again, bunch of classy guys here, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been great.
Yeah, I don't always get to watch very much of the live sometimes, just because when I get done with this, it's usually I am kind of exhausted and have to eat dinner and stuff like that, interact with the family. And so there's a lot of times I have to watch after or something, and so, but I try to do that as much as I can, just because, like I said, I want everybody to be able to, to be seen. And like I said, it's it's we're all doing this for fun, you know what I'm saying? So it's that's the main part of it,
Definitely.
All right. Well, Bob, I'm sorry that you're frozen.
That's fine. Yeah.
It wouldn't be a show if we didn't have technical problems.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, that's just par for the course at this point in time.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Remember to go to DieHard3.75 on YouTube, and maybe sub there if you can. And watch some videos, give him some likes. And then thanks for everybody who came out to watch tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you to all those that watched the replay.
Yeah, thanks for the replay squad. I appreciate it. I usually get messages Monday morning or Tuesday morning, like, "Hey man, the show was great. Thanks." Thanks, or the show was great, and so it was the good guest was great and everything. I'm like, thanks, appreciate you, And so anyway, It's been a good show, and I guess we're gonna go ahead and just end it with that, and just tell everybody we'll have a good rest of the weekend, whatever much is left of it, and we'll see you next time.
Bye,
I'm waving goodbye,
Thanks.
but you can't see it.
Yeah, Bob is waving, by the way. So
yeah.